Ready? Perfect. Seems like most of you are back. We will now start the second part of this Capital Markets Day for Vertiseit, and we will start off with looking into our strategies going forward. And first up is a big initiative that we take that's called IXM Grid, and it's our platform strategy that we will look into. And we have Lisa Spjut, who is product owner for IXM Grid, and we have Roland Grasberger, founder of Grassfish and chief innovation officer in the group. So welcome up.
Thank you, Johan, for the introduction. So my name is Roland Grasberger. I'm from Vienna, from Austria, and I'm responsible for innovations in the group, for product innovations, and leading the development of the IXM platform. And I'm together here with Lisa.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, I'm Lisa Spjut, and I joined very recently here at Vertiseit.
Yeah, and we are talking about an interesting project. I think the most important development project that we did in the last decade. And our presentation will have no nice pictures, only dry stuff, and but interesting, at least for me as a technician. So we are talking about the retail space, and what changed in the retail space is that retailers build up knowledge coming from the online space. So years ago, there was not, this online knowledge was not there at the traditional retailers, only at online retailers. They built up the teams, they gained knowledge, and this transformed the whole way how they communicate with customers. So it started then with multi-channel and omni-channel, but what we are talking about now is unified commerce. And unified commerce means that the customer has the same experience, a seamless experience over all touch points. It can be online, it can be social media, it can be in the store. It should be the same experience. It should be personalized. He should have the same products, the same messages, and it should be a homogeneous flow of communication towards him. But what does this mean? This does not mean that there is one platform that can do everything, because everything what has to do with digital elements in the store is a completely different technology. So IXM is a completely different technology than an online or social media platform. But what they have to do, they have to work together very closely. So it is important that all these different platforms exchange data, are all integrated into processes to communicate to the customers. But it's also important that the people who work with all these tools also are facing the same processes, so that if you work with digital elements in the store, that it's not completely different than social media or online. It should be the same for the staff that's working with it, and it should be a homogeneous experience for the people in the stores, or the customers, to say it like this. And this is something that we are working on for a longer time now, and we are going now to the next stage.
You can keep that one.
Yeah.
So hi again. As I said, I recently joined here as the product owner for this IXM Grid. I previously worked with software development in various roles at Polestar, Klarna, and iSettle. And now I moved back to Varberg and got the chance to work here instead, which is really great. With our products, and especially with this new initiative, we do not replicate what is already on the market. We rethink how we can support our customers to deliver the best results with less effort. And the ambition with IXM Grid is to push the industry forward. There's a clear objective for scalability, supporting millions of devices, also to meet the highest security demands and performance to be able to leverage the cloud and AI technologies. Our new platform will also be highly modular. There is a specific need to fulfill both market and customer-specific needs. And this will be supported by our new architecture. And also, very important, of course, for our future growth. This will enable us to do fast integrations of the platforms that we will acquire in the future. And after a very thorough pre-study, we are now in the early development phase of this. And I think it goes without saying that it's very, very exciting to be part of building this from the ground up. Thank you.
Thank you. And so what we are talking about is a completely new platform. What we did is that we didn't want to redevelop the same that we have and that others have. So we have a lot of knowledge. So we have people in the company that are working in this field for decades. We have Daniel Bloch, who started at Scala years ago when I was a child. And no, Daniel is actually younger than I am. Or Oscar Edesprong, and so we have a lot of knowledge, and we met and we said, what can we do better? So we understand our customers, we understand the business, we understand the technical challenges. If we now start with a new product, how should it look like? And the greenfield approach, that's what we did. We started with the development of a new product and not taking care how the existing products look like. And we also started with a new technology, a cloud-native technology, so it will be a purely cloud-based product. And also, and we use all these cloud technologies that are so excellent, like IoT hubs and queuing and communication and databases like the Cosmos database, where you can really do a lot. And also it enables us to scale more quickly, more easily, be also cost efficient, because cloud native means that you only need hosting and servers when you need them. You don't have to pay for them the whole time, you pay for what you need. And also you can really deploy something globally. So if we have a customer in the future in Asia, he will have an Asia access to the cloud, and or an Asian instance, and a US customer, US instance, and it's it provides a lot of possibilities. And we will use a microservice approach. That means that the whole software is not one big block, one monolith. These are small services that are working independently of each other. They speak to each other with interfaces, and it enables us to develop the whole product further and further, not by developing always or innovating the whole product, but only each service. So we will be faster, more efficient, and more stable in the future development. Because what we build now should be the technical basis for our product for the next maybe 15 years or maybe longer. We will see. And so what we are doing is that we say we have different products. We have the dice product, we have the grassfish product, and maybe in the future we will have more products for specific markets, or there will be other companies be acquired that bring in a product already, and this has also to be integrated in the whole system. And we take the same approach that car manufacturers have. So we say we have something under the hood that's the same for all brands. So it's a unified backend and a unified player technology that is the same for all the products. But what the customers see, they see only the products up there. So they see the user interface, they see it's a grassfish product, or it's a dice product, or it's this product. And the product uses the same things under the hood, but they look differently, and they are focused on specific targets, target markets, customer segments, and so on. And this will dramatically increase also the effort, because this one is one joint development, and then we have different products on top, and we will have the possibility to develop more and more products if needed, or to integrate products from newly acquired companies. And to give you some examples of capabilities that we will introduce, is that we have a hyper-modular approach. That means that not only the functional modules will be there. So for example, if we have to add something for retail media, that we create a retail media module, but it goes down, for example, that if you, for example, want to have a new content type, or a specific customer wants or needs a new content type, for example, a special streaming application or something like this, this will be a new content type that will be placed in the system via modules. So you don't have to change the system to enhance the capabilities. If you want to have new content types, new playout strategies, new workflows, that's all modular. And modular means not only that, that it's extendable for a customer or over time, but these modules can also be exchanged between products. So if, for example, the Grassfish team develops a product that can be then also used by or is needed by DICE customers, this module can be exchanged, so it allows us to grow together faster and better. And so this is the, I think, most important thing, but we will also introduce new content publishing philosophies. So we will also support the traditional way, or the way how people that are already working with digital signage systems work with digital signage systems, but we will also introduce ways to work with the system so that it resembles social media publishing tools or online content publishing tools, so that if people that are working in a big organization that are used to social media, that they can also switch to our product and work in the same way that they worked before. And so we are thinking about how can we adapt to the way the people work in organizations. And these organizations have different sizes, these are different people, so there will be different ways how to work in the system, not one way, how to work it different ways. And what we will also introduce, because we have a lot of experience now with large organizations. For example, BMW is, I don't know, working in 70 countries with the system, and they have 2,000 or 3,000 people that are working with our system on different levels, in the headquarters, in the country organization, in the dealership, in an agency. And it's tough to manage a system like this, because the Swedish people only have to are allowed to access the Swedish content, and the Austrian content, and then we have the dealers, and then there are some people that can manage users, and some that can create content, and some that approve content. And now in a big system like this, everyone has, so everyone, I mean every competitor, and also we have maybe hundreds of user groups. So we have a user group for content editors in Germany, for example. And in the future, so we created a model together that allows us to set these things up much more easily, that you don't need hundreds of user groups, you have 10 roles, and then you have your organizational structure, which will play an important role in the future. And it will be much easier to set all these things up in big organizations. So that will be a huge step for us to move on with this new approach. And what's also important is that we will integrate, we open it for AI technologies. So we are not an AI developer, we will use AI technologies. And this can be used not only to create images, because that's something that maybe Adobe does, but for example, if there's content coming in, what is always important is that the editors tag the content. They say this is this product, and this is has a red car in it, and it's in the mountains, and so on, so that the campaigns can be set up easily. And tagging is always manual work, but tagging can also always be supported also by AI, for example, that AI suggests the tags, how you categorize the content. Or if you have another topic, monitoring, you have a large network with 20 or 30,000 screens, then there can be irregularities where AI can detect that something is happening somewhere, and maybe you should have an eye on it, look at it more thoroughly, so that you can prevent a problem somewhere, and or what the agencies at least want to have. AI should also be possible to define what should be shown where. Now it's usually a manual process. You say this content should run there for this target group during this time or so. And what they want to have is a system which has all the content and input from cache registers or AI analytic systems, and then the system decides itself what to show when to which customers where. So it will be open, it will have the interfaces for AI, and also in the beginning we will start with some integration of AI. But this will be an important topic in the future. And then what we also will introduce is a user-centric approach. That means that it's not that the user that uses the system is in the center. So when you open the platform, then it tells you, it gives suggestions, it tells you where you have to look at, it suggests something. For example, there is no new content in this area now for 2 weeks, please have a look at it. You will be integrated in a workflow, you have your own personal space where you will work. So it is really focused at the user that's using it, making life simpler for the user, integrate the user in the workflow of the company, in the processes, and make this the whole life, support his life, his daily work life. Yeah, and maybe the last thing that I want to mention is that because we have this unified commerce approach, we need all these interfaces to different systems. So the whole system is approached through APIs because it has this unified backend. So we have a very big or large API level where also other applications can access the data, can exchange data. So this gives us endless possibilities in our projects in the future. So this will be will be the basis for the future Dice and Grassfish product. So we are working on the unified backend. We are working very closely together. Dice, it's a combined Dice and Grassfish development. So developers from Dice working together with developers from Grassfish. So we're working here as a team. And we bring all this knowledge in, and we expect that we will have the first product based on the new IXM grid out next year, somewhere when next year, and maybe one product first, like Dice, and then the other product a little bit later, and and at this time there will be 2 products, for example, 2 Grassfish products, the existing IXM platform, and then the new IXM grid-based product for a time, and then over time, the old product will be used by less and less people, and the new product will be the product of the future. And that's what we're working on. I hope you enjoyed it. But I hope you enjoy it much more in the future.
Thank you so much, Roland.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Roland. Thank you very much, Lisa. So this was a little more like detailed view on how we work with our strategy for our platform. And apart from this, we would also like to deep dive a little bit more into our growth strategy and also our acquisition strategy. So and in our growth strategy, we have like two bearing principles, which are scalability and global reach. So, Johan, would you like to start elaborating on this a bit?
Of course. So, scaling from a position where we are today, where it's a small number of partners, a big number of direct customers, especially to Grassfish. Like, how can we keep up with the pace that we had in organic growth? I think focus on scalability in every detail is key, and we will look into like 3 examples. Like one is of course partnerships, because if you aim to become the biggest ERP platform company on earth, then it's really hard if you are responsible to implement that ERP system at every customer, right? So we need to work with the best that actually can bring our product to market and also tell and also actually create the concepts that create value for the customer on a day-to-day basis. So what we do now is like with Dice, we're there. With Dice, we have the best partner for each market. It's just that we don't cover so many markets yet, so we need to go step into new markets. But it's a kind of an easy play from a strategic perspective. With Grassfish, we now want to establish partnerships that are not in place. That there is a lot of like consultancy firms, digital agencies that used to implement a lot of those product solutions that you recognize in the digital customer experience online, and we want to onboard them into this industry. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done, but also we know that it's key to scalability. And in the largest rollouts that we have, it's already in place, working together with partners. It wouldn't have been possible for Anne to tell us that we had 10,000 units at Porsche, for example, if we were to install every unit. So partnership is key. Next thing is IXM Grid. And you now heard, like we haven't talked so much about Grid because we don't want to have thousands of questions from investors. When is it ready? When is it ready? But now we are at the stage after 1.5 years of investigation, and also that we ramp up development now, that we tell about the Grid project here today. And what does it mean? It means that of course, for Grassfish and Dice, it means that we don't build the same thing twice. But from a scalability and growth perspective, it's even more important, I should say, because now we actually build a foundation where we can bring in new platforms that we acquire. We can build new industry-specific modules on top of it, but it's still one unified platform at the core. And if you look at, there is examples in this industry where you have tried to like run a buy and build scenario, where you end up having like tens of platforms, and then you are at the stage where it's really tough to like harmonize. So this is a very important topic, just for like Roland and Lisa now promised that it should be possible to run millions of devices. That's good. And also that it is scalable, like it have global scalability capabilities, and of course that it increases speed and it's more cost effective when you can use already existing cloud-based technologies. And third topic under scalability is that we now have the platform, the one ERP in place. So it means that we basically have the two blueprints. So if we bring someone in to the group now, we have the blueprint when it comes to culture, processes, management system, sales, marketing, support, and we also have the blueprint for how they should operate the IXM platform. Meaning that the first task for someone that we could bring in would be to replace their existing playout and backend technology. stepping into the next one, Jonas, like global reach.
Yeah.
So,
But I think I could just because I had this discussion with a couple of people during lunch on the ERP topic, because it's basically the similar principles as when it comes to the IXM grid, but on a more like organizational, administrational level, so that bringing in other companies or scaling globally will be able to be done on this unified ERP platform, meaning that these investments that we've done in this will not be needed for many years to come. So when it comes to global reach, could you tell us a little bit more about the different partners that we're looking for and working together with?
yeah, so we have the full service partners that are best on each concentrated market for dice. But in Grassfish, we have like 3 categories. So we want to have the agency consultancy partners that actually map out the customer journey for a customer in all touch points. And we want to be able to connect from there to the digital agencies that implement solutions. Then you have the integrators that actually are responsible for the operations and for implementing digital in-store solutions touch points. And of course, you also have the technology partners like Samsung and so on. But I think we want to flip. Like if you look at the traditional company in this industry, they usually have strong connection into the technology providers. They come from like the AV landscape, and they end up serving retailers. But we want to flip the whole flip the strategy. So we should have like the strongest relationship with those that are closest to how digital in-store can create value. But from a technology perspective, from an IXM grid perspective, we also need to be very tight. We work really tight with the Samsung, the LGs, the Philips, and all other players that actually provide technology, sensors, so on into this space. The second one is working with customers and brands that can expand. So we work with 3 tiers. We work with tier 1 customers that are global brands, basically. Tier 2 customers that are national leaders. They should be 1, 2, 3 in their vertical segment, in their specific market. And tier 3 is tomorrow's next cases, well-funded companies like Polestar used to be, and then because they will be tomorrow's winners. And why is that key to scalability? Is that when you have a concept in place, it's quite simple. You just multiply the number of locations with the number of touch points, and of course the price for the license and modules. But that's basically the formula for your growth. And the larger the brand, the more scalable is the more scalable, basically.
And that's one of the reason why we avoid like one-off projects and basically projects that does not meet the scalability criteria.
Yeah, we now do World of Volvo, and it's really fun to do. But it's much better to do all the dealerships, right? And then it comes to acquisitions. And acquisition have contributed with 50% of our growth so far, and we will dig a little bit into that because, like some years ago, it was very popular, Jonas. Now it's not so popular with acquisitions anymore. But we will dig a little bit deeper in why we think it's relevant for us going forward. You can change slide, right? I think it's there. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
So yeah, so acquisitions, to start with, I mean, acquisitions, they are not value creating from a perspective of just acquiring other businesses. It's what matters and what creates value is what you do once you have acquired them. So that's a little bit what we would like to talk about. But okay, so why do we want to keep making acquisitions?
So we could see from like our historic figures that the performed acquisitions, we have done 8 of them, have been really successful. We have grown on every single acquisition from the ARR at the point of acquisition to where we are today. So it's something we have a proven track record, basically, and we also talked about our net revenue retention, that we are able to keep and grow an existing customer base, and it's not only due to that we perform well in the operations, it's also due to the stickiness and barriers in this industry. So once you have an installed base of 10,000 devices, physical devices in 40 countries, it's really the cost to replace is really, really high. So, but it also means that when it also costs you a lot when you scale. So it's long sales cycles. It's a lot of work to actually sell, implement, get all the decision makers on board, integrate into all platforms that are in place. So actually, when you look at it, like what is the effort to sell from like the first meeting with a Volvo, with a Volkswagen group, to actually have 1,000 units in operation, and if you compare it to acquire that customer, it's actually more efficient to acquire them. That's the fact. And we also think like the global reach, like we think it's too much risk involved in just open up an office in San Francisco with 15 people and start from scratch in a new market. So, and we can see that with how well we perform now in the DACH region, for example, in Germany and so on. And I think that wouldn't have been possible if we joined forces with Roland and the team in Vienna, for example. So, so actually, to get like global reach, I think acquisition is key. And then it comes to the how, right?
Yeah, and when we do acquisitions, of course, when they are performed, that's when the real work starts. And in order to create value from that, we of course need to realize the synergies. We need to apply our processes and like sales philosophies and so on. Of course, draw the knowledge, use the knowledge in the organizations that we do acquire, and the people that comes with it. But we need to apply our our processes. We need to board them on our platforms, in our license management systems, in our IXM grid, and so on, making operations even more effective, and of course making sure that we apply at least the same growth numbers as we have in our operations. And then of course the ERP investment that we have done is of course a key part in this. making acquisitions way more effective from our perspective.
Great. And then what are we looking for is the last one. And I should say, like, emphasize that, like, it's called buy and build. It's just that many think that they just focus on the buy and not the build. So I think when you create value is when you build, and that's what Jonas just mentioned in the how. And then with the what are we looking for? So, of course, we look for acquisitions that can bring in partners, that can bring in customers, and in territories where we already have our operations in place. It could be companies that don't 100% fit the strategy, they could lose money, but it could be like low multiples to acquire, and we have the resources in place to make them work and to be profitable and to gain traction on the accounts. The further away, the more strict, the more aligned the companies need to be with our current strategy. We don't want to buy like a full service provider in San Francisco. It wouldn't be easy to align that with our strategy. So when we go for like market reach, we also look for pure platform plays where they already have a partner strategy in place, or already have a profitable business, hopefully, or close to, where we just can put our framework and give them access to the IXM grid, etc. So that's what we look for.
Yeah.
And we believe it's the right path to continue to have acquisition as addition to our organic growth going forward.
Yeah, and I think it's important to emphasize that our acquisition strategy has not changed, even though maybe the market appreciation of acquisition has changed, and that is of course also due to the fact that we must not do acquisitions in order to perform our growth. We do have like healthy profitability and healthy growth numbers without acquisitions, which means that this is what we can add and fuel our own growth and profitability with.
Yes.